Jum'ah, it's imperative that we move forward always to the closest gap possible and fill in that gap. By doing so, our lines will be formed. So if all of us can please inshallah stand up this time, look around us, make sure that the line is straight. If there is a spot in front of you, please move forward and inshallah fill in that spot. As you know, it might be raining soon, and if it rains, we don't want people outside standing and waiting. So inshallah, the closer that we come and the faster we form our lines, it will be easy for those who are coming after us and also for us to start the salah. Once you're complete, inshallah, please have a seat. Jazakumullah khairan.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله الذي خلق الإنسان من طين ثم جعل نسله من سلالة من ماء مهين ثم سواه ونفخ فيه من روحه فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين أعطى ومنع وضر ونفع وهو بكل شيء عليم نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة فجزاه الله عنا وعن كل المسلمين خيرا اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, once upon a time, children would come home for the summer holidays, and there would be joy in the parents' heart. When they would go back to the new school year, there would be tears in the eyes of both parties. Then came a time that parents were upset by the mere fact that their children would be at home. And they would be happy when they went back. Some parents even counted the days till they went back. We live in a time today, my dear brothers and sisters, that parents dread their kids coming home, and they dread their kids returning to school. What's happening? Initially, they were happy to have their children with them and spend time with them. So in return, children took their free time and allotted a portion of it to serving their parents. They did so by assisting in chores or doing something beneficial for the family. But then came a time when time was consumed by personal activities. Everyone got busy with themselves. And the concept of one body, one family, one home became obsolete. And benefit meant for self, not for others. The reality became today where trust is lost due to the failure of executing on core responsibilities. And instead of reviving or rectifying our breaking homes, we feel that others should do the job. We feel others should do the job while simultaneously criticizing their work and seeping mistrust of that individual in the minds of our children. Parents no longer desire to parent their own children. And children don't want to serve their source of existence in this world, their parents. Parents have outsourced their duty, and children have outsourced their allotted time and priorities for their efforts. Parents have forgotten the concept of family. Children have lost the reality of home. Parents have begun to love themselves. Children have begun to love and express their love for others. Parents have stopped leading. Children have stopped following them. This reality checklist could go on, my dear friends. Since our children have all returned back to school, I felt today it is important to discuss how we should restructure our homes as parents. In their absence, I feel, inshallah, for myself and for all of us, the words that will be said this afternoon will be well received. For the benefit of restructuring the home is not restricted to the four walls. Rather, it is the key to strengthening, rectifying, upholding this ummah and the entire community. For beyond the battered and bruised body of our current ummah, a much more severe matter is the breakdown of the internal function of it. As we cry foul when we see things happening locally, nationally, and around the world, we have forgotten to actually see the internal problem, which to me is much more severe than what's apparent to the eyes. And thus, that is why I believe if we can restore the internal function of this home and us as individuals, we can, inshallah, restore the function of this ummah. The external body condition will not factor in the ability for us to function adequately if the internal is taken care of. Now, many of us grew up using pencils. Many of us might have had a habit of chewing a pencil. If not chewing the pencil, then chewing the eraser on the top. It doesn't matter how chewed up the pencil is. So long there is lead in that pencil, it will write. And don't factor the rust, the strip paint, the dents of a car in questioning its ability to transport you. So long there are 4 good tires, there is gas in the tank, and complete function of its internal mechanisms, you will, insha'Allah, get to where you need to go. They say in America, and they say here in the West, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't get so carried away with how it looks from the outside. For today, the Ummah is doing just that. We are nitpicking on the scratches and the dents, the bites and the drool, not to forget the chewed up eraser of the pencil. We need to stop crying about what we see happening and start crying of what is the cause of its occurrence. It's time to pop the hood of the car. And by doing so, you will find concealed under the hood something called family. And you will find somewhere beneath that engine, where the transmission lies, it's called self. My fellow parents, the current state of our relationship with our children is not the best. If you acknowledge this, then acknowledge the following. The outcome of it will be much worse. If we don't address family today, the outcome for the Ummah tomorrow is much worse. With the Memorial Day holiday and the New Year beginning, insha'Allah, tonight, it is best we begin to change our ways and make new resolutions. In today's khutbah titled, As Children Go Back to School and the Ummah Falls Further, Operation Restoration is our New Year resolution, I plan to address just that. I implore Allah the Almighty for tawfiq. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. All parents are responsible for their children's tarbiyah. I want you to go home today with that one word, regardless if you know Arabic language or not. Every parent on the face of this earth is responsible for their own children's tarbiyah. Which means a stage by stage, phase by phase upbringing that will guide them to the right path today and equip them with the necessary items required to trek that path tomorrow to the destination. Yes, there is a cultural excuse that we have today we all throw out to the extent that we have normalized it. We're living in a bad society. Yes, the distractions are many today. But so long the path itself is clear, there should be no excuse preventing them from getting to Allah tomorrow and to their destined path of greatness today. Don't blame the world if you did not pave out the path. Our job as parents is to pave the path and give them the inspiration and hope for them to believe that they can trek that path. And if you can equip them with a few granola bars and a few protein bars and a few bottles of water and maybe some Gatorade to go along with it, they will, insha'Allah, take that path. A driver does not blame snow when the road is clean. Yes, there's distractions, but if that road is clean, you can't blame the snow. And if it isn't clear, then that car, if it has terrible tires, the fault lies on parents. We have a tendency to complain of what our children aren't doing or what they should be doing better. But the ball lies in our court first before it goes to theirs. So your participation and commitment today is the difference between getting it done or failing miserably. So I want us to focus today on that one word I said earlier, and that is tarbiyah. And I promise you, my dear fellow Muslims, it isn't rocket science. It isn't based on your knowledge of the faith. Many people say we came from another country, we never understood how to raise our children, or the Quran didn't teach us that, or I'm ignorant of what the Quran says. It's not rocket science. You don't need to be a scholar in Islam to do this. It is a reflection of who you are and what you do. It's that simple. Tarbiyah is knowing that your children will follow what it is that you are doing. And so long you veer clear from the hazardous places and those potholes that can pop your tire, and from that black ice that will twist your car 363 times and maybe flip you over, if you can veer clear, inshallah your children will veer clear also. Believe it. Tarbiyah or tarbiyat consists of 8 letters. I want us to understand these 8 letters. T stands for time spent together. It doesn't have to cost money, brothers and sisters. For sometimes we feel, and we have made it such, that if I need to spend time with my child, I have to spend money alongside with it. Spending time doesn't have a number to it. It doesn't have a number on the clock. It doesn't have a number on your debit card, nor does it have a figure on your credit card. And remember one thing, brothers and sisters. The time, the mere time you spend with your child will be the memories that they will hold, not the money you spent on them. The Quran tells us about the importance of time. وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ. Remember the time when Ibrahim a.s. was picking up the founding stones of the Kaaba and Ismail. I.e., a father was busy doing what was commanded to him. He was doing his job. He was doing and fulfilling his obligation, but he had his child along with him. You could go do the gardening and just have your child come with you. You can sit down and read the newspaper and have your child sit down and read a book also. Things need to be done together. Time is the first ingredient in the recipe of tarbiyat. A. Assist them emotionally and intellectually. Everyone says, I have no time, so that's why I've hired someone to come to my house and teach Quran. I don't have time to have tutors to come and tutor my child because their math grade is low. Yes, you may not know algebra. Yes, you may not know how to read the Quran as good as you wish you knew it. But there is nothing here that states that you shouldn't sit with them while they're reading, even for 5 minutes. Or that you say to your child, can you correct my Surah Kawthar? I think you recite it better than I do. There's nothing wrong with a tutor teaching your child algebra, but there's nothing wrong with you sitting down and watching your child explain to you what they learned so that they can teach you in return. You need to assist them because they are your child, not anyone else's. Our children will come to us when they are assured that we are out to assist them in their emotional dilemmas and intellectual predicaments. Yusuf alayhi salam's father said what to him? When he told his father, I saw a dream, he says, لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا. Oh my son, you're my son, and all these children are my children also, but I am advising you. I'm advising you for your emotional state. Don't tell your dream to your brothers, because they're going to get jealous, and if they get jealous, they're going to do something to you. It was the fact that the parent had the time to advise the child, even though the father had a great obligation on his shoulder. None of us are too busy to spend time with our children. Remind them, R stands for reminder. Remind them of their path. What is that path? 121 is being expanded right now. Why? Because it's become a path for more drivers than it can handle. So when the path is trekked by people over and over again, those footsteps in the mud become the tarmac on the floor. We will continue to trek that same spot until we make that spot concrete. We will expand it with our footsteps. When you remind your children to pray, when you remind your children to be honest, when you remind your children to be upright in their character, remind them through your own actions, and do not dictate to them with words of harshness. Rather, speak to them like Luqman alayhi salam spoke to his son. When Luqman said to his son, and he was advising his son, Ya bunayya, oh my little child, la tushrik billah, don't associate partners with God. I'm not doing it, and I'm just telling you, you don't do it also. Inna shirka la ghulmun azim. This shirk and association of partners is a bad thing. He did not say that don't associate partners with Allah, because that's the one sin Allah will not forgive and you're going to be in hell for eternity. He explained to him, it's a grave transgression. Ya bunayya, aqim as-salah, wa'mur bil-ma'ruf, wanha 'anil munkar, wasbir 'ala ma asabak, inna dhalika min 'azm al-umur. He's teaching his child to establish prayer. Teach what is good, prohibit what is wrong, and be patient and endure what happens, because this is the best path. Be of benefit to them. Do not speak them down. Don't mock them. Don't threat them. The negativity in our children's character today has gone viral, and it's become the norm. There is not a single school, a single class, a single grade today in our public and private school system, but bullying has become the norm. This is the replication, and this is the result of the bullying that's happening to them. I inspire them to see their qualities, to see their abilities, and help them build off of it. Why? Yearn for their goodness. Do not push them to what you want for them. Allow them, through your teachings, to formulate what's good for them themselves. There's a mentality in our culture where we dictate to our children who they are, who they're going to be, what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it, and the worst thing is we put the cloak of religion on it. Don't say oof to your father. Then don't dictate to your children. You yearn for their goodness. Imagine a coach that gets a player on a team that has so much potential. They don't confine that player. They want that player to flourish, because if that player flourishes, the team flourishes. If the team flourishes, the coach's credibility goes up. Ask Allah. Today the ummah has forgotten dua. No one has time to make dua. We have time to call others or to implore others to pray for us, but we don't have time to pray for our children when the dua of a parent is gold for a child. The one zulm and transgression you can do as a parent is not to pray for your children. The du'as of a parent can bring back lost items of a child, can restore a path of goodness for a child, can make a child who's on their deathbed stand up and walk again. This is the dua of a parent. If you don't believe the power of dua, read the story of Imam Bukhari's mother and what her dua did for him. In the last T, train them. From the basic to life skills, you should train them to do everything. Everything you know, they should know. Your children will inherit from you not just money, they will inherit from you life. And if you don't give it to them, they've taken it already from someone else. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to do the correct tarbiyah of our children and to make them better than who we are. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. My fellow brothers and sisters in Islam, this is it. This is it. The entire manual of parenthood was just presented in front of you. Kids aren't distracted today. We are. We were told by adults and our elders, when you're kids, life is about you. When you get married, life is about your spouse. And when you have children, life is about them. Seems like something went wrong in that system. Kids are not distracted today, we are distracted. Their actions are a result of our self-engrossment and disconnect from them. Parenting isn't a one-day thing or a month's prescription, it's a lifetime commitment. That is why you are the parent and not someone else. Allah gave these children to you. He didn't give it to someone else. Go out there and meet people who are much more affluent, well-to-do, have enough money that they can raise a football team and a half. But guess what? Allah didn't give them children because as it says in the Quran, Yahabu, 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 Yahabu liman yasha'u inatha, wa Yahabu liman yasha'u dhukur. He gifts to who He wants a girl. He gives to who He wants a boy. He gifts some both, and He makes some without children. Go whatever doctor you want and do whatever you want. It's not haram, try it. But guess what? At the end of the day, the buck stops on Allah's court. If He's going to give it to you, He'll give it to you. But if He's not giving it to you, you're never going to get it. So since He's given it to you, why are we today as parents giving them away to others? As for the environment, it was always polluted with vice, but the masses veered clear of it. The difference today is that we are not repelling vice, we are succumbing to it. So my fellow Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةً. Your family and your wealth are a test. Don't take the fitna, I'm saying to our Urdu-speaking or Desi members of the community today, because the fitna is also a word in the Urdu language or in the Hindi language. Do not take it to mean something bad. It's not a curse. Fitna means it's your test. You want your paradise? It's in front of you. So as we embark on a new volume of life and ink the history of our world tomorrow, inshallah, as we close 1440 Hijri and open 1441 Hijri, let us make a collective resolution. I will get up from here today and do what I need to do today before I am forced to do it tomorrow. Let us restore our homes. This should be our resolution for the entire year. By focusing inward, we will cease the bickering outward. And in time, we will fix our home. And if we fix our home, I promise you, take my words home if you don't believe it, you will have fixed the ummah. If you care about Kashmir, if you care about the Xinjiang region, if you care about the Uyghurs in that region, if you care about Palestine, if you care about Syria, if you care about Somalia, if you care about Yemen, if you care about Iraq, if you care about the world, and that's what we're talking about today, if you care about that, then take my words today to heart. I promise you, the solution for these problems is in what I just stated. How? If we have strong families, our causes today will live beyond us. Our concerns today will remain the global concern. Our cries today will amplify till they are global, until there is a global consensus. So long there is a next generation to do it. Your work depends and it's restricted to your life today. Why? Because we have not built the next generation. So if you create that next generation that calls on Allah and does their due diligence on this earth, you have completed not just your task for today, but you have completed your task for generations to come. And for that, all they will need is Allah and what they need to do. We send salutations and blessings upon Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who guided us practically towards these points and demonstrated to us it was possible, and it is possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Holy Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا صَلُّوا عَلَيْهِ وَسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما اللهم انصر الإسلام وأنصاره وأذل الشرك وأشراره اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى واجعل آخرتنا خيرا من الأولى اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا وارحم موتانا يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد